I suggest you listen to my relationship story. I'm interested in NOA. He is a trainer in Oriental practices, and I've been practicing for the third year. Before that, I went to him 10 years ago. Both times I fell in love with him. I'm in the same state again now, but I'm just tired of it. He has a great physical shape, a great sense of humor. He is self-sufficient, very dedicated, and as humble as possible. But practitioners, not his main job, but he's been doing it almost all his life. He knows a lot. At the same time, in his main job, he is also successful. He has reached the management. In short, he is just like a prince. He is a man of maximum right and decent, sometimes plays such a bad guy. But what I personally have a hard time dealing with is his closed-mindedness. Well, with friends and relatives he somehow relaxes and more or less still opens up with them. As I remember, went the first few months, could sit before training to wait for the hall and in general silence with him for half an hour. In the end I got tired of it, and I stopped being afraid of him at some point. Then I myself began to grow everything, but he seemed to be and did not mind. Then, of course, with the passage of time plus or minus got closer. At some point I realized that I had feelings. I did not want to go home from training. I got sad and thought about him all the time. At trainings before that something was working out, and I looked at myself with different eyes. With him somehow easier, more attractive, I began to feel or something. My sense of humor has awakened. I didn't expect it from myself. That's also why I fell in love. I kept reminding myself that I had no chance, that he wouldn't like me anyway, that it would be shameful if he realized, and that we were two different people, and that it was unclear how it would all end. And I didn't want to give up training and didn't want to create difficulties. I was tortured at home because I was attracted to him. And with him I was not like that, of course. At some point I couldn't stand it. I thought, fuck it all. It's not going anywhere. Feelings, whatever, and I will not hope for anything. I fell in love for nothing. I had one really great workout. Although he has most of them, but I was still on the rise then. Jumped up to him a hug before going home. I wanted to prove myself so badly. The next time, after practice, I see him standing across from me, looking at me. And not on his phone like he usually does. He's waiting for something. And I was already emotionally burned out. This time I didn't hug him again. I left like that. Then at class, I caught a glimpse in the mirror. I was on some kind of upswing in those days. It became easier when I sort of accepted that I could not be closer to him, but before that I roared at home properly. And at the training I was laughing, smiling, joking about something too, getting a high from the class. I started to notice his looks, that he was joking on purpose. I couldn't believe that it could have been directed at me. One day he came in completely different. He even blushed a couple times. On the same day, went to walk me to the bus stop. His girlfriend was even surprised, as they usually did not go with me. He shoved her to walk next to me. And it hit me again. I started fantasizing in my head, weaving the future. When we reached the stop, I hugged him again. My friend's eyes were two saucers, although they don't meet, but she didn't expect it, apparently. I could feel the heat from him as he walked beside me. He was picking up the conversation, and usually he's silent. The question in my mind was, what to do next? At the next training session, he was smiling, joking, looking at me. And I just collapsed inside. I don't know why. I've never had that before, and I was pretty scared. Like I don't care. I'm tired. I don't want anything. I'm sad. But I realized, if I'm like this, how will I ever talk to him again? He went to see me off again, but I didn't care. I didn't hug him. My hands were like stone, and I couldn't hold a conversation. At the same time, I realized that for a long time, several months wanted to communicate, so that everything was like this, and there was no strength left to continue to endure. But I was confused, not sure of myself, did not want to push, and could not do anything. I wrote him that I wanted to talk. At first he replied that he could tomorrow. I first rejoiced and asked where to meet. But he said that at first he didn't even understand that I meant to talk in person. But he said he had no time at all. He was busy working in the evening. And he offered no alternative. And I failed once again. I tried to slow myself down and somehow stay within the boundaries. I wrote that I would be grateful if someday he finds time. He didn't respond. I tried to pull myself together. A few hours later, at night, I still wrote him a letter. I realized that I can no longer keep it all in myself and already be what will be. But I need to save myself. I need to get rid of these emotions. Of course, I wrote how I feel about him, what training means to me, and what a great guy he is, and that he deserves to be told that in person, not in a letter like this. For some reason I wrote that I'm not always as positive as he usually sees me, and that he will lose interest when he sees me different. Loaded letter. I ended it by asking that nothing change and that he not push me away because I don't want to lose the workouts and I care about communication with him. I didn't expect him to say anything, and what was there to say? I was just describing my thoughts, my reasoning. But closer to the evening, he sent smiles and wrote that training continues to lead. He came to the training session gloomy, and I was relieved again. I did my best to show him that everything was fine, smiled, we even joked again. I thought that maybe there was still a chance for close communication. After the training, he went to see me off again, even though his girlfriend was calling him in the other direction. We chatted. I held his hand. Well, I wrote that I have nowhere to go. In terms of feelings, I just have no strength, and in general, I have to give people warmth, and then I burn out because I keep everything in myself, and I need to learn to do it so that no one was bad from it. He somehow or something laughed at this. Or what? I did not expect it. At first he thought it was a joke, apparently. He didn't write anything afterwards. He didn't say anything. In the following weeks it felt like he was watching and waiting for something from me, and I didn't know what he wanted from me, and I was shaky because of it. I didn't know how to behave. Maybe he's offended that I don't hug him more or something. Or maybe I thought he was. He doesn't need me, does he? I ended up with the fact that I got a look from him in the wall and a cold tone, as if you do a favor distance. At night, I woke up and cried with the realization that I had nothing to give him, and was disgusted with myself, as if I was pushed away. Then it was very bad. I went on vacation for 2 weeks and did not go to train. But I didn't want to quit training. I wanted to recover. Later, I resumed training. I realized that it is important for me to go there, and my feelings for him do not go away. I try not to burden anyone. I try not to get too involved, but I try not to forget about myself. I gave him a present for his birthday, and he seemed to like it. I go regularly when I can. Actually, that's all I can do. A couple more times we walked together after class, but our conversation didn't go well. I would like to talk to him. He knows so much. I had a lot of questions, but we walk about 7 minutes. You cannot talk normally, and small talk for a couple of minutes I do not know how to conduct. this is my personal problem. He seemed to try to bring up some distracting topics too, but the conversation seemed to sink every time. At the same time, in classes, with other people, when it is not just the two of us, everything is fine, fun, interesting, jokes, common cause. At some point we began to communicate more easily. He is not as closed as before, and as if he is no longer so sharply loaded, he became more positive, and it is easier, of course. Showed his footage from the trip, which I jokingly asked him to bring and did not even expect him to remember it. He is always attentive during training, and everything seems fine. But I feel unnecessary, and in particular he does not need, and not in particular, but mainly. At first you emotionally invest in a person, and there seems to be some kind of response, and everything is great, but the relationship does not work out as I want. I guess he doesn't need me at all. I feel like I'm exhausted at times like this. I don't want to be upset anymore when something goes wrong, when there is no feedback from a person, and I need it, even if I didn't want it to be needed. But I was the one who made up a possible mutual interest that didn't work out, and he didn't promise me anything. It's hard to blame him for that. I'm the one who inadequately evaluates the relationship. It's just a human relationship. I'd like a romantic relationship. But I don't have an admirer, and that's probably why I thought of Coach as a significant other.